We are back on this Bennington rebuild. If you don't know about this project, I bought this a couple weeks ago for $5,000. This is a Bennington Pontoon. It is 22 foot long and it was on the east coast of Florida for most of its life in the saltwater, as you can tell by all the barnacles that used to be on it and are all over the ground right now. We got a lot of those off. We don't have all of them off yet because we can't get to them because we have to lift up the whole boat somehow. Still gotta figure that out and try to get it above the trailer so I can finish cleaning up the rest of this and hopefully put a new coat of paint on it and cleaning it up really good. This boat is in pretty good shape considering it was a rental boat, but we want to do some stuff to it to make it look a little bit better. One of the main things is this fencing. I think this fencing looks really ugly. The white just doesn't really do anything for me. Doesn't really match anything, and this is a Bennington. This is supposed to be the top of the line brand. It's supposed to look really good, but it doesn't really look that good, I don't think. So this episode we're gonna be focusing on the fencing and making it look a lot better and hopefully make it look more like a Bennington in a top of the line luxury brand boat. Comparing this fencing to this fencing from pontoonstuff.com, this looks very modern, very sleek. I like this design a lot, and I kind of want to implement that onto this one, maybe do some kind of curvature, more modern looking design to it, and that's going to require some aluminum welding that I haven't done before, but we're going to try it out this episode and hopefully make this look really good. Also, we might dig into this motor, make sure it runs, because this motor was originally on my other boat, and I took it off of this one to put on this one because this one did not come with a motor, and this one's going to be done a lot sooner than my other double-decker boat. So we're going to find another motor for that one, no big deal. We're going to find a bigger motor because this one's a little bit bigger, weighs a little bit more than this one, and this one's gonna be done soon. That's why we put this motor on, and we're gonna make sure it works and runs, and we have almost everything we need in for this boat. So hopefully this rebuild is gonna be going by pretty quick and we can get it done and start riding it. First thing we need to do is try to figure out how to get this fencing off. I think we can just take the paneling off from the outside right here. We just undo the screws and this little bracket right here, and maybe we can get to the bolts that hold down the fencing. Should be underneath. Might be a little tricky to get to on some of these parts, but we're gonna take this paneling off and hopefully that will make it easier to remove all this fencing. So let's do that first, and hopefully we can get it all off without having to remove the seats or move them out of the way or anything. That was actually pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. It wasn't super hard. I had a couple bolts that were a little rusted and I had to cut them off, but other than that, this was pretty easy to take off. Paneling wasn't bad, and that's because this paneling was replaced before. That's what I expected to whenever I bought this thing. As you can see right here, the paneling actually slides into this little lip, and there's supposed to be a lip at the bottom, but it was actually cut off and replaced with that single aluminum stripping, and that makes it a lot easier to replace and take out and stuff. It's easy to take out the paneling. You just take a hammer and hammer it out, but getting it back in, you have to bend this lip out and then bend it back to get the whole paneling in, and it actually bends the paneling a lot and can cause some damage, and it's just really frustrating to get back in. So they actually made this very easy for anyone to replace, so that makes it nice. Like on the gate right here, you can see it still has all the lips still connected, and I just hammered it out in it. And if I want to replace it, I would have to bend this bottom lip out, slide the panel in, and then bend it back up. It's just kind of a headache, so a lot of people just cut that bottom lip off and put a piece of aluminum over it, or just pop rivet it in. So if I want to just replace the paneling, I can just cut that lip off and put some paneling on the outside and then put that plate back over it and screw it all back in. But you know, we're not going to make it that easy, even though I kind of want to make it super easy, but I want it to look really good, and I have an idea to make it look really good. And that's involving using this old Bimini top. Like I said in the first video, I broke these Bimini tops on the way home when I bought them. It originally had one in the front too, and that thing got ripped off completely. These ones, a lot of the legs broke off. It was not a good trip. We're avoiding that. But the good news is this is the same exact aluminum that's on the fencing. Like, the grooves are all the same, and it's the exact same aluminum, so we're going to use that to piece a lot of the pieces together. But first, let me explain what I'm talking about when I say custom fencing. I have a couple different designs here. This one's a pretty simple design. It's just very straight angled pieces that kind of make it look a little bit more modern, and I kind of like that, you know, nice little angled pieces. And then like on the inside here, you can have it like a different color. Like, my paneling is going to be blue, so all of this is going to be blue, and I can make like this white and this silver. I thought about doing that. The problem with this one is I don't have a lot of straight pieces to this Bimini top. All these pieces are really curved, and the only straight pieces are the ones that are going down, and I don't have very many of those left because a lot of them are broken and missing. So we have to think of something more curvature and doesn't really take up too many straight pieces. So it's a good idea. Someone else can use that. It's pretty straightforward. This is just a different angle of that. See which one I like better. This is the one this one I'm going with. Next design I have right here is kind of simple, kind of not. A lot of the pontoons, or at least the newer pontoons, have this exact same design, and Pontoon Stuff's new fencing has this similar design to it. I'm pretty sure Bennington was the first company to actually make this design. I don't know what you would call it, maybe like a wave in the back, but I think it looks really good. But I want something a little bit more and had my own design twist to it. It's kind of subtle, but it looks kind of cool. This is the design I'm going with. It's going to be kind of a mixture of both of these. So I like the sharp angles of this one, but obviously I don't have enough metal for that. And what I liked about this one is it looks more modern and it has like curves in it, and I like that style. So kind of a mixture of both. I want to add like a little subtle little lines as like a sharp detail to it, and then the curve to the back, and I think that will look the best and also be somewhat the easiest. One thing I need to tell you guys about is some of these bars are going to be cut off, so the wave is going to come down this way and kind of connect right there. So from this point down, it's going to be kind of cut off right where inside that wave is. That's where it's going to be cut off. So some of those pieces are going to be cut off. Same thing with this side. This side has a gate to it, so the fencing isn't really the same length, and it also goes back farther. So I have to do this side first, get the measurements right, and then try to transfer it over to here, make it look okay and kind of flow good. Hopefully I have enough aluminum for all this. I think I do. There's a lot of pieces left. So we're going to try to do all this. I have not welded aluminum before. Luckily, I have a welder that goes MIG, TIG, aluminum. It has all the different kinds of options to weld. It's a Eastwood's Elite MP200i. Love this welder, and I've used it a lot recently, and it works really great. If you guys are looking for like a more affordable welder that can do all different kinds of stuff and you can learn different things, I recommend this one. This one's really great. Now, since I've only welded MIG before, I've never done any kind of TIG welding, especially I haven't done aluminum welding, I got a spool gun that will connect with this thing. Now, since I've never welded aluminum, I've never TIG welded or anything like that, I wanted something that is kind of similar to MIG welding, and that is aluminum spool gun welding that connects to this, and it has like aluminum in the gun that you hold. I'm going to try that out. Hopefully it works, and if it doesn't work, then a lot of this is going to get scrapped because I have to be able to weld aluminum to be able to do this, so I don't think it's gonna be super hard. I think I could figure it out, but it's gonna take me a little bit to figure it out, so hopefully I can get all this done. Wish me luck. Hopefully this works out well, and if it doesn't work out well, then I'm gonna be spending some money on some new fencing, I guess. Everything is ready to be welded. I got it all cut out to length, all the straight pieces, all the curved pieces, and curving those pieces was actually pretty easy. I expected it to be a lot harder since I've never done it before and this tool was fairly cheap. So I didn't expect it to be that easy, but it only took maybe an hour to bend all those pieces, maybe 2 hours. It was actually pretty easy, and I think it's gonna look really good. I mean, that looks pretty good as it is right now, and I just have to weld it on there now. Slight problem though, I accidentally bought the wrong spool gun welder, aluminum welder thing. This one is for one of their other welders, and I didn't get the one for mine, so that's my fault, but they are sending me one out right away, so hopefully I'll have it in a couple days. We'll see, and then we can start welding it then. But for now, I want to go ahead and start hooking up the motor. I got all the shift throttle cables and the wiring and the actual throttle assembly all in. So I'm going to go ahead and hook that up, see if it will crank. Hopefully it does. Yeah, we're gonna see if it cranks up. And then if it does, I'm going to shut it off right away because I want to do like an oil change and clean all this motor up before I actually start running it fully. I just want to make sure it cranks before I put a bunch of money into it. That is great news. It turns over and it kind of started. Surprised me a little bit because it's not hooked up to gas or anything, so there must be a little bit of fuel that was left into it. And this thing hasn't been ran in like probably 4 or 5 months, at least. But starts right over. That's good news. Like I said, I'm not going to run this thing right now. I'm not going to do anything to it until I give it an oil change. I just want to make sure it cranked and everything was working fine. You may notice this weird line running to it, and I didn't know what this was hooked up to, and it wasn't cranking over until I gave it power. So evidently this is supposed to have a power wire to it. So I'll run an actual one. I just ran that to make sure that was the actual problem. Up here, everything just hooked directly up. When I ran that new power line, the new throttle cables, everything just hooked right up. Because the Suzuki motor was originally on this boat, it made everything just easy plug and play. It all just had whatever you needed to hook right up into it. It was very easy. Except for this. I don't know where that goes. It might just be something extra. I couldn't find anything to plug into that, so we'll just have to leave it. And I'm gonna clean up all those wires and stuff eventually. I just want to make sure everything worked before we moved forward to something else. So I'm not gonna do anything else to this motor until a future episode. I just want to make sure everything worked, and if I needed to order anything, I would go ahead and order it. So I'm gonna order an oil kit and maybe spark plugs or something. I just want to clean it up, make sure it's all running good, because it sat on its side for almost a month and then it was just sitting for a while. So I want to do a good oil change to it, and if you guys have any other ideas I need to do to it, something maintenance wise, then let me know. Maybe replace all these rusty clamps. They're getting a little rusty, so replace all that. Also gonna paint it, maybe do a custom paint job on it. I don't know, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. But yeah, that was great news. I bought all this stuff online. I couldn't tell you where I bought it because I had to go to different kinds of websites trying to find the right stuff to work. And it's not easy trying to figure out what kind of motor this is and what kind of wiring harness can run to it. It took me a while to figure it out, but you can eventually learn. And also, if you guys need help with anything pontoon wise, you can join a Facebook group. There's Pontoon Junkies. That's a really good group to join if you guys are rebuilding your pontoon. They help me out a lot with different kinds of things I need. Brand new throttle cable. This was like $500. That was the cheapest I could find. It came with the key and everything too, so that made it all nice. And this is all plug and play, so at the end of the day, I'm kind of glad I went with just a Suzuki motor that just plugs straight back in. All right, I can't really do anything else until my spool gun welder comes in, and then I can start moving back on the fencing, but good news. It's a good little side project to do until that comes in. And the fencing is about 90% done. I just have to finish up bolting it down. I just ran out of a couple bolts because I had to cut a few, so I have to go to the store and pick them up. But other than that, it is pretty much done. It looks way better. Comparing it to what it looked like before, this is a massive improvement. I think it looks really great. And this wasn't really super hard. You know, this was my first time aluminum welding, so it's not perfect. But it holds. It actually welded together and it holds. I just had to grind it down to make it look a little bit more presentable. But for my first time welding, you know, it wasn't too bad. I had a couple really good welds, and then most of them were really spotty. So it's just a learning curve. I got to figure it out and try it a couple different times and maybe do a little bit more research, and then I can get a lot better. And obviously practice makes perfect. But tell me what you guys think. Do you guys like it? This paneling is from pontoonstuff.com. You can buy it straight from their website right now. They come in multiple different colors: white, blue, red, and black, I believe. Same thing with this fencing. Now obviously this fencing isn't perfect, you know, it's scratched up, it's seen its wear, it has a couple bent pieces, you know, and I'm not a perfect welder, so the welds aren't really that great, but I mean, it's just pretty good, and it's a really easy flip to make it look a lot better than what it used to look like. And I think it looks a bit more modern too. So what I'm saying is you can fix up your fencing to make it look a bit more modern, but it's not gonna be perfect. And if you want something perfect, Pontoon Stuff sells a really nice fencing kit if you guys want to purchase that. That's gonna be on their website in a couple months, maybe. If you want to get it early, you can email them and try to get a hold of it. But if you're just looking to save your fencing and want to do something a little bit more modern, a little bit more cool, I think this is the way to do it, and I think it looks really good. I had to install new hinges because the old ones were in a really rough shape, and I gotta kind of adjust this a little bit to get it to latch in. And I still gotta finish bolting all this down too. I went with pop rivets on the inside. You could do a bunch of different stuff, screws, some plating. You can do a couple different things. I went for with pop rivets because I think it looks a little bit cleaner, and it's also not super hard to do. And the only part of the fencing you see on the inside of the boat is right here, so I just try to make it look a little bit cleaner. Everything else is hidden behind the seats, so you don't really see much of it. Like I said, it's not 100% done, but it's just a couple screws, and I have to put the gas cap back in it. Just have to cut a hole for that, and all that is pretty easy to do. I'll just do that off camera, and then we can start fresh with a new episode next week, and hopefully finish this thing up pretty quick. This video was delayed a few days because of weather, and I just tried to finish it up really quick, but I didn't really want to rush it and give you guys a half-finished video, so I apologize for that, but I hope you guys like the outcome, and I think it looks really, really good. I really like it a lot. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I post a lot behind the scenes. I give updates if my video is not going to be posted on time, so you guys can follow me there if you want to. If not, I will catch you guys in next week's episode. Back on this pontoon, hopefully digging into this trailer and make it look a lot better. And you can see now it's actually holding the pontoon up, so that makes it nice. All right, I'll catch you guys next week on a new video. Bye.